If you say this, the evil narcissist will fear you forever. Alright, listen up. There's a certain kind of person out there. The kind that walks into your life all charm and sparkle, like they just stepped off the set of a movie they're starring in. But behind the shiny mask, pure manipulation. A narcissist, and not the harmless garden variety kind. I'm talking about the toxic kind. The kind that wrecks people for sport and smiles while doing it. See, a narcissist doesn't want love, doesn't want truth, doesn't even want respect. What they want, what they crave, is control, full-blown psychological domination. They want you so twisted up inside that you question your own memory before you ever question them. But here's the twist. There's one sentence, just a handful of words that can shake that entire delusion to its core. And when you say it, oh, they feel it. Deep, like a sucker punch to their fragile little fantasy world. You ready? I see you. That's it. 3 simple words that land like a sledgehammer to their house of mirrors. Because once you see them, really see them, they can't hide. They can't spin. They can't keep playing the puppet master when you've already cut the strings. They build their whole act around illusions. Smoke and mirrors. Carefully polished lies. They rewrite history like it's a hobby. They gaslight, twist your words, mess with your head until you don't know up from down. But the second you look them dead in the eye and say, I see you, game over. Because now, you're not playing anymore, and that scares the hell out of them. See, the narcissist survives off your doubt, off your confusion, off your silence. But once you speak up, once you name the game, they panic. That mask they worked so hard to keep in place, it starts to crack, fast. And sure, they'll try to claw their way back in. They'll throw every tantrum in the book, accuse you of turning on them, of being dramatic, of being the real problem. It's predictable, it's pathetic, and it's proof. Proof that the moment you stop being their pawn, they lose their power. So don't get loud, don't argue, don't beg. Just look them in the eye and say it like you mean it. I see you. Because when you see the truth, really see it, that's when the healing begins. That's when the spell breaks. And that, my friend, is when they start to fear you. Now, here's where it really gets good. Narcissists don't live in the real world, not the one you and I walk through every day. They live in a fantasy, a carefully staged play, where they're always the misunderstood genius, the poor wounded soul, or the savior that everyone else just doesn't appreciate enough. But the villain? Never. That role's reserved for you, the one who dared to question the script. And the show only goes on if you buy a ticket. See, their power isn't real. It's borrowed, leased from your belief. And once you stop believing the story, once you see it for the hollow performance it really is, it all comes crashing down. That's why they fight so hard. That's why the second you start pulling away, they hit you with everything they've got: guilt, gaslighting, fake apologies, and charm so thick you could bottle it and sell it. Because when you stop playing along, they don't just lose control, they lose meaning. And here's the thing, they know they won't change. Not deep down, not really. The type of narcissist we're talking about here, the cruel kind, the manipulator, the emotional leech. That kind doesn't reflect, doesn't grow, doesn't think, maybe I'm the problem. No, they rewrite the ending, spin the blame, and turn your pain into their justification. But that's okay. You don't need their confession. You don't need some teary breakdown or late-night epiphany from them. All you need is what's already in your hands, the truth. Because once you've seen them for who they really are, not who they pretend to be, you're out of their grip. You're done dancing to their tune, and that scares the hell out of them. It's not your anger they fear, not your strength, not even your absence. It's your clarity. Because now when you say, I see you, it's not just a throwaway line, it's a blade. It slices right through the lies. It says, I know what you are, and I'm not playing anymore. And trust me, that is the one thing they can't handle. They can handle confrontation, they can handle drama, they can even handle being hated. What they can't handle is being seen, truly, deeply, undeniably seen, without the mask. Because that's when the fantasy ends. And their fear, that's the applause you never gave them. By now, you've probably started to feel it, that shift. That click in your brain where the fog lifts, and the whole performance starts to look like exactly what it is, a one-person play. And not even a good one. See, the narcissist lives and dies by the script they write for themselves. They don't just act, they curate carefully, meticulously, like they're building a museum around a lie and inviting the world to tour it. Victim here, hero over there. Sprinkle in some misunderstood genius for flair. But every exhibit is fake, every spotlight, staged. And the second you say, I see you for who you really are, you knock the lights out. Boom. Total blackout. They don't fear your anger. They don't flinch at your accusations. Hell, they like chaos. It gives them more material to twist and use. But when you look them dead in the eye and don't flinch, when you stop feeding the delusion and simply see them, that's what sends shivers down their spine. Because now, their tricks don't land. The guilt doesn't stick. The compliments feel hollow. You don't melt when they cry. You don't chase when they vanish. And you sure as hell don't apologize for things you didn't do. That rattles them deep. They'll scramble, call you unstable, say you changed, try to turn others against you with just enough half-truths and sideways glances to poison the well. Why? Because if they can't control you, they'll try to control how others see you. It's their last line of defense. And listen, they won't always come at you head-on. No, some narcissists are slick. They won't scream. They'll whisper lies in circles you used to feel safe in, subtle sabotage, strategic silence, all designed to make you question yourself, to make others question you. It's insidious. But here's the thing. Once you've seen the pattern, you can't unsee it. Once you know the game, it loses its grip. You become the one thing they fear the most, a person they can't fool. And that's where your real power lives. Not in yelling louder, not in revenge. In clarity. Because when you walk away knowing exactly what they are and knowing they can't touch you anymore, that's the moment they lose. And trust me, they know it. Here's where the real shift happens. The part that flips the script completely. Once you see them, truly see them, there's a quiet kind of power that kicks in. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It doesn't scream or stomp or demand attention. No, it's calm, clear, steady. It says, I see you for who you really are. And then, silence. Not because you're afraid. Not because you've got nothing left to say. But because you don't need to play anymore. You don't argue, because arguments are their home turf. That's where they twist, spin, deflect, like some deranged magician pulling rabbits from a flaming hat. It's all misdirection. And the moment you refuse to step onto that stage, you starve them. You don't explain yourself. Because they already know. They're not confused, they're not misunderstood, they're not waiting for some light bulb moment of clarity. No, the narcissist knows exactly what they've done. They just don't want you to know that you know. But now you do. And that alone? That terrifies them more than any threat you could throw. You don't need a confession. You don't need closure. The power comes from your presence, the way you stand tall, speak plainly, and refuse to be moved. Saying you have no power over me isn't just a line, it's a declaration of war against their entire illusion. Because here's the truth, without control, a narcissist is nothing. They don't build connections, they build cages. Every relationship is just another move on a mental chessboard. Every word they say, every compliment, every I'm sorry is bait. They're not looking for love, they're looking for leverage. But their favorite weapon? Fear. Fear of rejection. Fear of being abandoned. Fear that maybe, just maybe, you'll stop needing their approval. Because once you do, their whole house of cards falls down. Fear only works if you feed it. But when you stand there unwavering and say, I'm done, I see the game, and I'm not playing, you take every single piece off the board. And that, right there is when they lose it. They'll scramble, panic, try to crank up the pressure. Maybe they yell, maybe they whisper, maybe they suddenly act sweet, like none of it ever happened. But it's not real, it's just another move. Another desperate swing at the control they've lost. And here's the key. They don't care how you react. They just want you to react. Because the second you get angry, feel guilty, flinch just a little, they win a sliver of control back. So don't give it to them. Stay steady. Stay grounded. Because nothing is more terrifying to an evil narcissist than a person who sees through them and refuses to flinch. And this, right here, is where it all comes to a head. You've stopped reacting. You've stripped the illusion. You've stood your ground and said, "You have no power over me." And for a moment, everything goes still. But don't mistake that silence for peace. Because a narcissist doesn't leave quietly. They don't bow out gracefully. This isn't a movie with a neat ending. It's war. Psychological, emotional, brutal. And the closer they get to losing, the harder they push. Because control isn't a desire for them. It's oxygen. They don't care how they get it. They just need it. Need you, not the real you. Your reactions, your confusion, your emotional energy, that's their fuel. And when you cut the supply, they don't fade, they panic. They'll try everything. They'll rage suddenly, violently, spitting venom, rewriting every memory to paint you as the villain. They'll sob, say you misunderstood them, say you changed. They'll disappear, go silent, make you wonder if you were too harsh, make you question your sanity. Or worse, they'll go behind your back building a quiet smear campaign, rewriting the story before you even get a chance to speak. Why? Because they're not trying to win you back. They're trying to win control back. They know they've lost their grip on you, so now they go for the world around you. They don't need to be right. They just need people to think they are. If they can't own your mind anymore, they'll try to own your reputation. They'll twist you into the abuser, the liar, the crazy one. And suddenly, you're not just healing, you're defending yourself from shadows. That's where people cave. Not because they believe the narcissist's lies, but because they're tired. Tired of fighting, tired of explaining, tired of screaming the truth to people who've already swallowed the lie. So they fold, let the narcissist back in. Just a little. Just enough to make the chaos stop. But it never stops. You already know this. Because the moment you let them back in, just once, they take it all. And before you know it, you're right back where you started. Doubting, explaining, apologizing for things you didn't even do. So here's the truth you have to hold on to. Do. Not break. Not now. Not after everything. They don't want your love. They want your confusion. They don't want peace. They want control. And if you give them anything, a word, a tear, a crack in your armor, they'll use it. So don't explain. Don't defend. Don't justify. You don't need to. You already see them. That's enough. You're not required to stay in a conversation just because they demand one. You're not obligated to fix their broken image of themselves. You don't need anyone's permission to leave the hell they created and call it what it is. You saw the truth. You spoke it. And now you walk. Because that's what they fear more than anything else in this world. A person who sees them, who knows them, and who refuses to play the game ever again. Here's what they don't tell you. When the narcissist throws their last tantrum, when the tricks don't work, the guilt bombs fizzle, and their little show falls flat, something wild happens. Not to you, to them. That's when the panic sets in. But don't get it twisted. It's not regret. It's not love. It's not a damn bit of guilt. It's fear. Because now they know. They've lost the stage. The spotlight's off. The puppet strings are cut. The audience, gone. The game, over. And without someone to twist, poke, or pull back into their circus, they're nobody. Just an empty, echoing shell addicted to control. You finally see it. Not just a bad mood. Not a rough patch. Not some harmless flaw to fix with a deep talk and good intentions. It's a blueprint. A system. A full-blown psychological operation designed to keep you spinning in circles while they sit back and sip your soul dry. And then comes the fork in the road. You can stay on the hamster wheel, keep dancing their dance, keep explaining, justifying, hoping, praying, waiting for that magical day when they get it, which, let's be real, ain't ever coming. Or You can do the one damn thing they can't handle, the thing that makes their blood run cold. You leave. Not just the room, not just the house. You unplug, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. You shut the door, not with rage or fireworks, but with calm, clean, soul-splitting clarity. Because when you stop reacting, stop playing, stop showing up to the fight, they lose the only weapon they ever had: your attention. See, standing your ground doesn't mean screaming. It doesn't mean blowing up their world on social media. It's not about exposing them to your friends or dragging skeletons into the light. It's about knowing deep in your bones that you don't owe them a damn thing. Not your peace, not your voice, not your heart, and definitely not your time. You don't have to fight a narcissist to win. You just have to stop showing up to their war. Title: they'll try everything, but you're already free. And here's where it gets real. They'll test the waters, send out feelers, toss a fake apology like chum in the ocean, just to see if you'll bite. One moment, they'll act like they've changed. The next, they'll twist the knife. Kind words laced with venom, sweet memories followed by blame, a flicker of regret that burns into rage when it doesn't land. This is their last stand, their Hail Mary, because deep down, they know you're slipping out of reach. And that terrifies them. But the beauty of clarity: once the fog lifts, it doesn't roll back in. Once you've seen the narcissist playbook, once you get the game, you can't unlearn it. You stop waiting for growth that ain't coming. Stop looking for love in a place that only offered control. You don't hate them. You just don't need them anymore. And that's the kill shot. Because what does a narcissist do when they've finally run out of things to take? When your attention, the one thing they craved most, is no longer being handed to them? When your energy, once freely given, is now guarded and protected? When your soul, once bent, twisted and drained by their manipulation, is no longer within their reach? They disappear. Not because they've changed. Not because they've grown. Not because they've suddenly realized the pain they caused. No, they vanish because the well has run completely dry. There's nothing left for them to exploit. No more emotional fuel to feed their ego. No more reactions to provoke. No more guilt to weaponize. No more boundaries to break. You've taken back your power, and worse for them, you've done it quietly, without drama, without giving them the conflict they thrive on. And that is unbearable. Because to a narcissist, your strength isn't inspiring, it's threatening. Your peace isn't comforting. It's a mirror, reflecting back the emptiness they've spent their life trying to hide. So they leave, not with dignity, not with closure, but in silence, in avoidance, in the dead of night without a word, because they can't stand the sight of someone who once gave them everything now choosing themselves. So when they go, don't wonder. Don't question. Don't reach out. Celebrate. Because you didn't just survive their games. You didn't just endure their chaos. You won without screaming, without fighting, without lowering yourself to their level. You won by walking away, by staying silent, by refusing to play. And if you're reading this right now feeling that deep, quiet resonance in your chest, thinking, damn, that's me, then listen closely. This is for you. Stay gone. Don't look back. Don't fall for the illusion that they've changed. Stay strong in your boundaries. Stay sharp in your truth. You've come too far to let their shadow darken your light again. And if this reached something inside you, if it named a pain you've carried in silence, if it made you feel seen, if it reminded you that you're not broken, just awakening, then don't let it end here. Share this. Save it. Come back to it when the doubt creeps in. Drop a comment below and say it out loud. I'm free, or I'm healing, or just I see the truth now. Because someone somewhere is searching for these words, and your voice might be the one that helps them take their first step out. Because the moment you break the cycle, not just in action, but in awareness, you don't just save yourself, you become a beacon, a proof, a living example that escape is possible. And in doing so, you light the way for someone else to walk out too.